Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Aquarius. If Aquarius is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so tonight we have a bonus reading for Aquarius, and our card is the Two of Swords. It is from Tarot of the Abyss. Okay, come here. Come on. Oh, hello, girl. Okay, let's see what these tea leaves have to say. All right. And so if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. Okay, so immediately I'm seeing this kind of, it looks like a face. We have the eyes, the mouth, and the head here. Here's the body, and it looks like they are holding a cup. Okay, it looks like the Ace of Cups, the Holy Grail, and then we have a flower kind of right next to it. Now this person, it also looks like we have a Sphinx right here. Okay, you have the head and the body and kind of in a seated position or kind of a lying position. And so at the foot of this person, and it makes me think immediately in my mind, I just have this kind of vivid feeling, this impression of somebody who is kind of like lying in bed and in that in-between state of wakefulness and sleeping. And there is almost kind of that, the old hag syndrome, which is when you are in sleep paralysis, right? And it's kind of like if you wake up and you realize, okay, I'm awake, but I'm paralyzed. I can't sit up. I feel like there maybe are people standing around me. This is a common one, that people see shadow people, or there's a sense of dread, like there's something in the room with you, but you can't see it because you can't sit all the way up, but you're struggling. And so I kind of, this is the face just looks, they look like they are in a state of just, of maybe terror, of being uncomfortable, being scared of whatever is going on, whatever they can see, but cannot do anything about. And then we have the Sphinx kind of sitting down there, right? And if you think of the Sphinx as being kind of an entity that shows up, or we, in our journeys, right, we come into contact with, and it is a gatekeeper. This is a being that kind of, it gives you the riddle, right? And then if you get it right, you can pass through. And so I don't know what the riddle of this particular Sphinx is, but I do feel like there's this sense of maybe troubled dreams or intense and vivid dreams during a time of change and not really knowing what the answer is. Kind of being stuck in a place of limbo, which fully coincides with the Two of Swords. We think of the Two of Swords as being in a place where you don't really know which mask to wear. You don't really know which part of self to put forward. Which decision or which choice within this decision do you make? Which way do you go? I don't know. They all seem about the same. I don't know. I don't feel any particular drive towards any of these choices, so it's hard to know what to do. There's kind of almost a stalemate. So I feel like there's a sense of being in a place of limbo. Now we have the emotional the vessel of the emotional waters, right? The Holy Grail. It holds the giver of life, the sustenance, the water that is needed. But we also have the flower. Now the flower, I'm going to imagine, is a rose. So these are the mysteries. And I feel like it's the sense of almost like an awakening happening, and feeling very overwhelmed by it, feeling very terrified, if you can remember back to like maybe the first time you started getting on the internet and looking at different kinds of conspiracies, or the news kind of things where they're exposing this or that, and you started to really kind of see there's like, oh, this inner working. It's not all as superficial as, we kind of like go through our life thinking, and the veneer is slipping, and the facade is blowing away in the wind, and my goodness, I'm seeing this for what it is, and I'm scared. I don't know what to do about it. This is absolutely overwhelming. You look back and think, was everything always a lie? Was anything ever real? Okay. And that those initial periods of kind of becoming a person who has a more inquisitive mind, maybe somebody who's not going to just take the kind of prescribed answers as, okay, this is the truth or whatever. It can be very well, it can also feel very enthralling, right? Like you just are swept away in the energy that it's just and then we see people who get really engaged in this kind of thinking, and they go out and preach about it, and it causes a lot of turmoil in people's lives and in families, and it can, well, we saw a few years ago, it was at a fever pitch, I think, and it still is to some degree. It's just I'm not on social media really, so I don't see it so much, but I think that after a while, this is what I assume, being an old head now, I went through this phase many years ago, almost 20 years ago, and your life kind of keeps going on, right? And there are cycles of things that happen, and you see more and more of this stuff, and it some things that were used to be conspiracies, they become common knowledge. And we get desensitized, and, whatever. And you start to see worse things or other things that overtake we forget about the old stuff. And so, then it is kind of, you look at it, but you're almost a little bit, it's a little bit less fiery for you. And I think that this is maybe one of those, if it's not the first, maybe you are somebody who's been around for a long time and you've seen the different things that, I'm not even going to bring up any conspiracy stuff, and I don't even like to call it conspiracy stuff. It really is kind of alternative histories and hidden histories. And so, And so, I think that you're going through one of them. You're going through something that really took you, it was, jarring. And I think that you are going through a phase in your life where it's like, yeah, I'm acutely aware of this stuff. I'm also trying to live my life. I still have to do the regular things that we do, shopping and cleaning and working and paying bills and having a family and, trying to take care of our health and mental health and spiritual health and all these different things. And I feel, that you are trying to balance, like, how do you deal with all these things at once? What do you do? And so, I think of the Two of Swords kind of as almost like a depersonalization in some ways. Now, it doesn't mean necessarily that you're dissociative, but I do think that there's a feeling of, when we have this card, that maybe there is a loss of confidence in some of your personas, and this can happen. It could be anything, and you become some other thing within your family. You take on a new role within your work life. You change jobs even, and who you felt like you were in these spheres of your life, it shifts, and it's like, well, what am I now? What do I do with myself? I don't feel like I am this aspect of myself so much anymore. And that can be almost kind of destabilizing. And that, that energy is not an easy one, but it does give us an opportunity, and it is a blessing, because it gives us an opportunity to be something else, to try something else, and TT, you can't do that to my face. Mommy, you gotta go find Daddy. He's in bed. Okay. It gives us an opportunity to explore ourselves, to take on, other positions in life, other adventures, create ourselves other masks and hats and costumes. And, I'm not a person that, there is this thing about wearing masks that people just find it, so it's like fake, you're being fake, and you wear a mask, and, well, we all do. We all do. And we all adapt, and we all, behave a little bit differently in different situations, depending on the circumstance of the thing. And there's nothing wrong with that. And it's even better if, you realize this about yourself and you have fun with it. You can enjoy the different things that you are in your life. And we don't always have to strive to be a singular thing. I'm a bit of an absurdist about life myself. It's the only way that I can keep myself going. So, have fun with how ridiculous it really is, how complicated we make our own lives, how complicated the world is, And so when we do, we have an opportunity to become another thing, to be something else to somebody else, start a new job and kind of change your whole vibe, your whole steez, and that is something fun to do. It's not just, you don't have to be, an actor or or some kind of performer to be able to do this. You can be so many things, and yeah, I think a lot of people partake in this without even realizing it, right? How many times have you ever, your family versus your work life, and it's like you're two different people, you know, or somebody else in your life. It's like, you know, your dad, when he was at home, he was completely different than he was at work, you know. His work people had a whole other vision of who he might be as a person, compared to how you experience them. And this happens. I think, you know, it just is what it is. And, you know, and if we know that, then let's have fun with it. Now we do have a key up here. We have a large key, and we also have a boat. Okay, and it also looks like a crescent moon, but we're looking at it as a boat here. So I think that there is a real unlocking of self in this cycle of time, in this period of time. There's also movement. You know, I don't think that we will stay so much in this kind of impasse. It's not an impasse really at all. I think that you will know, and I think that you will, you know, make a decision and get on your way with things. And I think this will be more important than you imagine. I think at the end of the day, this is going to lead you into this next cycle of things, and a lot of, you know, I think a lot of freedom in your ability to kind of try out different visions of what you might like to be, you know, what you might like to dress like, what you might like to start doing, like taking up some kind of hobby, or, you know, all of a sudden you're like the person that hangs out at the coffee shop and you're writing a novel there, and like you never could imagine yourself being that person, but here you are. You're going to try this on for a little while, you know. Almost like teenagers, when teenagers are trying to find themselves, trying to find their style, their subculture, their, you know, friends groups and whatever. So, I think I think it's normal. Oh, come on. I forgot to turn off my water thing. I can't reach it. My legs are too short. But I think it's normal. We get into these parts of our life where it's like, well, I'm going to try something else. I'm going to start wearing different things. Even for me, I recently, in the last like couple of years when I became a mom, started dressing a little differently. I wear a lot of dresses now, long flowy dresses and muumuus and, you know, things like that. Partially because they're comfortable, but I just wanted to do something different with myself. I wanted to, you know, I don't know, try a different aesthetic a little bit. I used to just wear shorts and jeans, and like black jeans and band shirts. So, you know, I've tried to shift into a different kind of look, and it's been fun. It is fun. It's fun to try different stuff, and yeah. So let's see, we have a 12. We have 2 people walking, and we have a heart, but they're separate from each other. One is walking ahead of the other. So I wonder if there is, there's a sense of somebody kind of going on without you. You're trying to catch up, or you're trying to get things to like kind of realign. Maybe a little bit of, you know, something in the relationship that is kind of, it feels like it's loosening. You're growing apart from each other. Or maybe they're working on something and they're really, you know, very focused on it, and you're feeling a little left behind. So, you know, I think this is a good time for you to be working on things that you care about and focusing on your own stuff. You know, and trying to have those moments that are special together. But I do, you know, I feel like, you know, and I'm no expert, about anything at all, including relationships. Although, you know, I have a lovely husband and I'm thankful for that. But and shout out to Dove and Serpent Tarot. Paul over there is the best. And that's my husband, by the way. But I think that, you know, when we are in a relationship and it, you know, it has grown into a comfortable position, things are just how they are. And then all of a sudden your partner starts doing something different. Like oh, I want to go back to school, or I'm going to try to get this other job, or, you know, whatever it is, they find something they really love, like a hobby they really love, or, you know, they're just very impassioned in life. And they're very focused on what they're doing, and they start succeeding, you know. It can feel like I'm being left behind. There's no place for me in this. I don't know, you know, like it highlights the kind of like where you maybe are feeling like you're lacking something in your own experience. And, you know, it's easy for us to try to find that within our relationship. But I think it's so important for when we have these moments, to find things that make us feel confident. Start doing things that feel like you are succeeding in. You know, finding that passion, finding that hobby, rekindling something that you enjoy doing. You know, and staying busy with your with the beloved things of your life. You know, I think it's really important that we learn how to have parallel lives to each other. You know, that's not to say that we can't be intermingled and woven together tightly, but we have to have our own things. We cannot, like, thrive and exist off of somebody else's energies. It doesn't work. It never, you know, it might you might stay together forever, but I tell you, it is not fulfilling, not in a way that, you know, means very much, right? And then you are reliant on somebody else forever, you know. And I think this is where, like, jealousy lives. This is where, you know, we don't trust, and codependency and all these kinds of things. But you have to have stuff for yourself. And I think this is the time. And I mean, I don't know why I'm even saying this to an Aquarius person, because I know that you're super independent anyways. You're doing your own thing constantly. But I think having gotten out of whatever situation has been happening, or coming into this place where it's like, it's very evident that there's a sense of trying to discover another aspect of yourself, or feeling more at home within your own life. You know, I think that there's this rising need to be a little more brave with things, and know that you will take care of yourself. Nothing is going to fall apart. You know, nothing is going to disappear, right? But it's important for you to be able to be your own, you know, your own being, your own self, and know what you like, and know what adds to your life, you know, for yourself. And it's not easy. It's not easy to always be in that mode. But, you know, sometimes the universe will remind us, like, all right, hey, this is a time where you should be courting yourself. This is a time where you should be, you know, you should not be concerned with what anybody else is doing. You know, you gotta kind of really get those blinders on, you know, the horses wear, and you can only see your lane. Stay in your own lane. All right, let's go ahead and look at these doors. They're the Divine Doors Oracle cards. I'm going to go ahead and flip through and stop where it feels right. Okay. And I'm holding the cat, so I'm trying to... Now we have the nomadic wanderer lies deep inside. So take the leap now. Don't crawl back and hide. There we go. There we go. Gotta get a little wandery right now. Go looking. Go looking, go looking. Okay. All right, Aquarius, I'm going to go ahead and tell you I love you because I do. I absolutely do. And thank you so much for spending this time with me, sharing your time with me. I am honored. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it does help the channel so much. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. And it is free to subscribe. And what else? If you'd like to leave a comment, please do. I would love to hear from you. All right, Aquarius. Lots of love. We'll talk in a few days. And take care of yourself. It's a demand. Oh, I thought I hit the thing. Let's do it again. Love you. Good night.